thing. And I got to go, for real. This is the month on God's calendar. Listen to this. For contracts. For contracts. This is the month for contracts. Whatever you're going to apply for, go apply this month. Y'all come on here. Come on here. This is the month for contracts. Y'all ain't saying that. Let me tell you what God did. And I got a witness here. I went through. And when I went through, I had a credit score of 850. I had 7 houses. I had 32 acres of property with 12 acres of lakefront. I had a Rolls Royce, 3 Range Rovers. You name it, I had it. I lost it all, every bit of it. Went to bankruptcy and lost another 50 million. Gone, everything I had gone. The Lord said to me, I allowed this to be because I'm going to use you to show the people how to get it back. He said, but I had to let one of y'all lose it. One of y'all up there that's real high, I had to let somebody hit the ground so that you can find an identification with what the people feel. Okay, I just said something right there. I just said something right there. And so I knew what it means to eat cereal every day. I found out what it means to have to eat pork and beans. And I found out what it means to go back to some days you having a fast because you didn't have no food. See, some of y'all think I'm lying, but I'm not. Listen, I had to go back to feeling like what it means when you wanted to go to church and didn't have no car and had to catch a ride and couldn't find nobody to come and get me. Y'all ain't saying nothing. I ain't getting nobody to talk to me. I had to know what it feels like to go to a Motel 6 and it was $49 a night and I couldn't pay my room, so I had to sit in the lobby for almost 2 days. I know what that feels like. Y'all ain't saying that. I know what it feels like not to have a place to live. I know what it felt like not to have a car to drive. I know what it felt like to get a divorce on a Friday and Monday my daddy dropped dead in our kitchen. I know what it feels like for my mother to have a stroke and she used to travel. I know what it feels like to be left alone. I'm not hearing nobody talk about. I know what it feels like to feel like the whole world done turned against you. I know what it feels like to be to raise money for churches all over the world and not one preacher would send you $1. I know what it feels like to feel rejected and forsaken. I know what it felt like to preach to people and the same people you preach to start hollering crucify. I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to be abused and lied on. I know what it feels like to not to have nothing on my side. I know what it feels like to be left in the wilderness all by myself. But I want somebody to know but God. But I also know what it feels like to know that he's an anchor. I know what it feels like to know that God is your strength. I know what it feels like to feel like that the mind of the Lord can take you up. I know what it feels like that when your mother forsake you and your father forsake you, that the Lord will bring you up. I know what it feels like for the Lord to catch you before you try to commit suicide. I know what it feels like to take the pills and still wake up the next day. Who am I preaching to? I know what it feels like to want to slit your wrist. I know what it feels like to go to the top of the building and you getting ready to jump off, but you hear the Lord said, I love you. I hear the Lord said, all things work together for the good to them that love the Lord. I know. But this girl is my witness. So my credit is messed up. My credit is messed up. Couldn't get nothing. And the Holy Ghost gave me this word about the 107 and 77. And he said, every time you get it, I want you to sow it. And I'm driving down the street and my phone vibrates on my lap. This is the honest to God truth. A couple of weeks ago. And I answers the phone and the girl says, my name is Stephanie and you don't know me. I said, no. She said, but I work with a credit company. She said, I own my own company. She said, I was working with some people, and I want to separate myself from them with a company that we started. She said, and they told me they was coming to get their files. She said, and I had a stack of files that belonged to the company. I'm driving down the street now. I done gave my 107. I ain't got nothing but God. And she says to me, but when the lady came to get the files, I was sitting there at my desk going through the files. She said, and on the bottom of the stack was your name. And I said, really? She said, Ms. Bynum, I called you because the Lord gave me an assignment. She said, I done listened to your tapes and you done blessed me. She said, if you give me 30 days, I'm going to wipe your credit clean. So in 30 days, I went from having one of the worst credit scores in the world to a 768, 756, 716. Y'all don't understand. So then the Lord said to me that this is the month for contracts. So me, with my obedient dumb self, because you got to be dumb to the flesh and obey God, I went out looking for a house. And not only did God let me find the house, but He let the people approve me for $2 million loan. No, you don't understand. But the same God told me to go out and look for me a truck, because He said, I'm going to restore everything the devil took from you. And so now I'm getting ready to buy a house in the same neighborhood that they put me out of. You don't hear what I'm saying to you. And then I went to the dealership and got the truck and picked out the Range Rover and got in the bank. And I knew my credit wasn't good at the time. And this was a couple of y'all ain't saying, I'm going to tell you what God can do. But I started obeying God. And when I sat there, the lady said, hold on a minute, we'll be right with you. A few minutes later, 3 ladies came in the office and they shut the door. And they said, are you the Juanita Bynum that preach? And I said, yes, I am. And they started weeping and crying. They said, we've been asking the Lord for a word. And they started telling me what they was going through. I took my coat off and started preaching. I started laying hands and praying. By the time I got through, they said, we don't care what you came in here for. I'm the manager of the bank and you can have it. And my sister was with me. And the lady turned around and looked at my sister and said, what she need? I said, her credit is bad and she need a car too. I walked out with a Range Rover. She walked out with an Escalade. I'm getting ready to move into a $2 million house. You don't hear what I'm saying to y'all. Who am I talking to? Because this month is a month of contracts. This month is a month to divinely trust the Lord. This month is a month not for you to shake and not for you to doubt God. Because guess what? Your faith this month is not your feelings. It's the fact that God has declared this month. Oh, let me back my story up a little bit. Because right before I got on the plane, the day before I got on the plane, I went on back to the Rolls Royce dealership and told the man, run my credit and find my car. Because I want a black on black like I had before. And when I left out of the dealership, I heard the Lord say, I'm going to make the devil put it all back. No, you don't hear me. You don't hear me. Because ain't nobody listening. Y'all just, come on, you don't hear me. You don't hear me because God can do more for you in 5 minutes than you can do for yourself in a lifetime. And let me help you with something. The reason why the Lord showed me prophetically is the reason why we have not seen the breakthroughs. Because we have declared it in April and we have declared it in July. And out of our ignorance, we have declared it in, watch this, in November. But September is the breakthrough month. September is the month that the Lord establishes you for the whole year. So whatever you get in April is because I declared it and sold for it in September. Whatever I end up with in August, I put it in August, in September. Are you hearing me? Whatever I end up with in April, I put it in April, in September. Why? Because the minute that I touch and agree with God's calendar, for the first time my life and my mind and my obedience have lined up with God's calendar. And now no matter what happened to me, no matter what I feel like, the devil can't shake it out of my hand. He can't shake it out of my hand, because the minute I understand that September is the month of contracts, it becomes a law that's separated from my feelings. So guess what? In November I may feel like it ain't gonna happen, but it is. My confidence becomes, for the first time in my life, I met God at the right time, in the right place. And God and I, for the first time, put our heads together and became one. And now what I speak is being downloaded in my brain from the mind of God. And he speaks it once, and I hear it twice, because I believe it, and then I obey it. In this building tonight, when God gave me this, I